Alright, what's up, folks? Sunday, October 2nd, 2016. Rich Van Tassel with you. Starting with some of the recaps for Week 4 of the NFL season. We had the game in London, Indianapolis losing. I believe I picked the score to be 30-27, but I had Indianapolis over Jacksonville. The Jaguars getting the win 30-27. For the Colts, Andrew Luck 27 of 42, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Frank Gore still productive as a runner, 16 carries, 68 yards, 4.3 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Andrew Luck 4 carries, 23 yards, no touchdowns. Altogether the team 25 of 94, 3.8 yards per rush, and the touchdown by Frank Gore. Receiving wise, Philip Dorsett had a 64-yard touchdown. T.Y. Hilton 7 for 42 and a touchdown. Chester Rogers 2 for 39. Chester Rogers also fumbled. Andrew Luck recovered a fumble. The fumble by Rodgers was not lost. They did have 3 sacks in this game, the Colts did. No interceptions. A 39-yard kick return by Quan Bray. Nothing of note in the punt return games. Adam Vinatieri 2 for 2 in his field goals for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles, 19 of 33, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, so had a lot of incompletions but did not have any interceptions. T.J. Yeldon finally coming along in the running game, 14 carries, 71 yards. Blake Bortles, 7 for 36. Chris Ivory, 8 for 29. We discussed that, whether they'd get the running game going. Maybe this will be the start of something for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Altogether, the team 29 of 136. It's 4.7 yards per rush, and the touchdown from Blake Bortles. Receiving, Robinson and Hearns both had touchdowns, but it was only 5 receptions for 55 yards for Robinson, 2 for 47 for Hearns. T.J. Yeldon, 4 for 36 out of the backfield. Yeldon did fumble. It was not lost. They had 6 sacks of Andrew Luck. Dante Fowler did not have any, though, but that offensive line continues to be a problem for the Indianapolis Colts. We'll get into that in just a moment. Yannick Ngakoue had an interception. Corey Grant, 4 kick returns for 80 yards. That's 20 yards per return. Jason Myers, 3 for 3 in his field goals. So, the struggles continue for the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of question marks with this team. You got to wonder where they're going, especially with that offensive line. The way they've been playing, it's a big problem for them. And as we said, once Jacksonville was finally able to establish some run, they did pretty well and were able to win a game because Blake Bortles was not spectacular in this game. So hats off for them. Let's see if they can get their season rolling. The Tennessee Titans were defeated by the Houston Texans, 27-20 in favor of the Texans. Marcus Mariota, 13 of 29, 202 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. DeMarco Murray, 25 of 95, running the ball. That's only 3.8 yards per rush. Did have 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 4 for 20. Altogether, 32 of 124, 3.9 yards per rush. A lot of running yards for not even average, or a lot of rush attempts for not even averaging 4 yards per attempt. Rashard Matthews, top receiver, 2 receptions, 82 yards. Had a longest of 60, did not have any touchdowns. Delane Walker, 2 for 34. No fumbles. Only 1 sack by Brian Arakpo. They did have 2 interceptions. Mark Mariani, 4 kick returns for 99 yards. It's not too bad, just under 25 yards per return. Ryan Suckup, 2 for 2 in his field goals. For the Houston Texans, Brock Osweiler, 25 of 37, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he did have 2 interceptions. Lamar Miller running the ball, 19 carries, 82 yards, 4.3 yards per rush. Alfred Blue, 3 for 19. Altogether, 24 of 115. That's just shy of 5 yards per carry for the Houston Texans. Very good there. Will Fuller, 7 receptions, 81 yards, a touchdown. Ryan Griffin, 3 for 54. C.J. Fedorowicz, 4 for 48. DeAndre Hopkins only had 1 catch for 4 yards. No interceptions. And without J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney did have a sack, but he was the only sack of the game. Quentin Demps did have an interception. There were no fumbles. Either way for the Houston Texans. Tyler Irvin, 1 kick return for 28 yards. Nick Novak, 2 of 3. Going to go with the Tennessee Titans on this one. Looking at them, Marcus Mariota continues to struggle. He is not progressing. He is not throwing the ball very well. Houston, defense was not great. Did not have the sacks you would expect from that team going into the season. But without J.J. Watt, you can't be surprised that they struggled in that regard. All right, next up. The Cleveland Browns were defeated by the Washington Redskins 31-20. For the Browns, Cody Kessler, 40 passes, only completed 28 of them. 223 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Isaiah Crowell ran the ball very well. 15 carries, 112 yards at 7.5 yards per rush and a touchdown. Duke Johnson Jr., 9 for 53, 5.9 yards per rush. Altogether, the team was 28 of 163, which is 5.8 yards per rush. Only the one touchdown, but they did have a rush that was negative 6 yards. So Washington's run defense has got to step it up. Gary Barnidge, 7 receptions, 57 yards. Terrell Pryor, 5 for 46, and a touchdown. Malcolm Johnson lost a fumble. Duke Johnson Jr. also lost a fumble. Cody Kessler recovered a fumble and also fumbled once. 3 sacks for the Cleveland Browns. Jamar Taylor had an interception. Cody Parkey 2 for 2 in his field goals, so he made every field goal he needed to make. Unfortunately, it was a game where they didn't win. They needed him to make some of the field goals last week. For the Redskins, Kirk Cousins, very efficient, 21 of 27, only 183 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Matt Jones ran the ball very well, as did the entire Redskins team. Jones, 22 of 117, 5.3 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Chris Thompson, 3 for 24, altogether 26 of 145, 5.6 yards per rush. Jordan Reed, the top receiver, 9 receptions, 73 yards, had 2 of the touchdowns. Pierre Garcon, 4 for 39. Will Compton, Quentin Dunbar, and Kirk Cousins all recovered fumbles. Kirk Cousins also fumbled. Only 1 sack for the Redskins. That belonged to Trent Murphy. Josh Norman did have an interception. Hats off to him. Nothing in the kick or punt return games of note. Dustin Hopkins, 1 for 1 in his field goals. The Cleveland Browns, we know their story. They're just not a good team, really struggling. Washington now 2-2. A lot of question marks after they started the season. But hey, Kirk Cousins wasn't spectacular today, but got the job done. They really have, gotten themselves together after a big win on the road last week against the New York Giants. All right, the Buffalo Bills, I predicted they would win. I didn't think they would win in this fashion. 16-0 over the New England Patriots. Tyrod Taylor, 27 of 39. 246 yards, 1 touchdown. LaShawn McCoy, 19 carries, 70 yards, 3.7 yards per rush. Mike Gillislee, 6 for 30. Altogether, the team 32 of 134, which is 4.2 yards per rush. They did not have any touchdowns. Robert Woods, 7 receptions, 89 yards. Charles Clay, 5 for 47. LaShawn McCoy, 6 for 38. He had the only receiving touchdown. Preston Brown recovered a fumble. 3 sacks for the Buffalo Bills. One of them belonging to Jerry Hughes. No interceptions. Nothing of note in the return games. Dan Carpenter, 3 for 4 in his field goals. For the New England Patriots, Jacoby Brissett got the start. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo was not healthy. 17 of 27, 205 yards, 7.6 yards per completion. No touchdowns, no interceptions. LeGarrette Blount, 13 for 54. Jacoby Brissett, 4 for 23. This is in the run game. Altogether 22 of 90, which is 4.1 yards per rush. Martellus Bennett was the top receiver, 5 receptions, 109 yards. James White, 5 for 90. Julian Edelman held in check. So was Rob Gronkowski. They both only had 1 receptions. It was of 16 yards for Edelman, 11 for Gronkowski. Danny Amendola did not have a catch. A lot of fumbles in this game. Jacoby Brissett fumbled twice, lost one of them. Buffalo, there were 2 sacks by New England. Buffalo didn't have any interceptions, so give New England credit there. They limited the interception to turnover-wise. Steven Gostkowski, 0 for 1 in his field goals. Would that have made a difference? I don't know when it came, and if, that got New England started out on the wrong foot. Doesn't surprise me. Buffalo won this game. I expected New England would eventually lose. To go 4-0 without Tom Brady was a tall order. They get Tom Brady back. They'll see where they go from here. We'll have to see what happens the rest of the way. But give Buffalo credit. They are now 2-2 after an 0-2 start. So didn't hang their heads, got it together, and are right there now. Only a game back and have the victory up on the New England Patriots. So we'll see what can happen from there. All right, in a little bit we will give you part 2 of the game picks. Maybe break it down to 3 parts. I don't know yet, but be sure to stay tuned for that. Just wanted to get some out of the way right now. So we will see you all in a little bit. Enjoy the later games of football as of right now. Have a good one. Bye.